Welcome to the Career Development presentation on resume and cover letter writing. This video will help you create, update, and strengthen your resume and cover letter. We will discuss the different career development services and resources and focus the presentation on resume writing and cover letter writing. Let's first briefly discuss some of the services and resources for career development. We can assist students and alumni with their resume and cover letter, with their internship and job search, including providing tips, strategies, and resources. We can help you with your interview, including interview strategies and conducting practice interviews. And Career Development hosts a number of job fairs, workshops, and events throughout the year. To schedule an appointment with Career Development, you could email us at cd@gmercyu.edu, and we have appointments virtually, in person, video, phone, or you can even email us. Here are some important resources that Career Development offers. The first bullet, the Career Development website, which I will show you in a little bit, has a lot of great information for you. So be sure to check that out at gmercyu.edu/cd. The second bullet, Handshake, is our job and internship websites for students. So please check that out. It's completely free. It's gmercyu.joinhandshake.com. And if you want to do a practice interview online, use our big interview website, gmercyu.biginterview.com. And if social media is your thing, please follow us on there as well. Let's get started talking about resumes. First, resume basics. Remember, your resume is a marketing tool. It's your first good impression. You want to showcase and highlight your skills, your experience, and your knowledge. And the document should be unique based on your specific interest and goals. You also want to bring this document to life, as we say. You want to use certain action verbs to highlight your experience and skills. And very important to remember, you want to personalize your resume, both to the employer and the job. You want to give the impression that this is the job you want and the place you want to work at. There are two important areas for your resume. One is the content, and the second one is the format. For your content, that is how well written your document is. Your description of your jobs, your student clubs, your internships, your clinical rotations, your student teaching, whatever it may be. Remember, it's not just your jobs. It could also be volunteer experiences, student clubs, and as I mentioned, internships, clinicals, other experiential learning opportunities, professional associations, training that you've conducted. But the format is vital as well. Your document needs to be consistent and eye-catching. You need to have your margins, your spacing, even your font type and size and section heading set up properly. I will discuss that more detail with our resume checklist in a little bit. Some good traits of a successful resume include using appropriate and strong action words, being consistent with your formatting. Your document needs to be easy to read. Information needs to stand out and be eye-catching. You do not want to have massive blocks of text and giant paragraphs. So you do want to use bullets when writing about your job or internship descriptions. Remember, your resume is not a list of everything you've ever done. It's not a biography. You want to showcase the most relevant and important information for that specific job or internship you are applying for. The document is not a fixed generic document. And lastly, you want to try to avoid having grammatical or spelling errors. Let's focus on action words. You want to be descriptive, and you also want to use relevant and related action words towards the field you are seeking. Remember, you want to write in proper tense. If it's a position from the past and you are no longer doing it, you want to write your verbs in past tense. If it's current, write them in present tense. So here are some generic examples below. Created resource inventory. So that was from the past. The second one, provide individual and group therapy. Present. marketed events, instruct students. So how do you know what words to use? There's a few ways that we like to say you can learn the lingo of your career field. This will really help you write your resume and your cover letter and even use these appropriate words during a job interview. You want to read different job descriptions. So check out Indeed, which is a good generic job website. Use Handshake, which is the Gmercy job website, or other websites. Just keep reading a bunch of job descriptions to see what skills, knowledge, and experience and words the employer uses, what they're looking for in candidates. When you start collecting information by reading these job descriptions, you can incorporate some of these action verbs and skills and words into your documents as long as you have them. And also the website ONET, which is created by the U.S. Department of Labor. Check out ONET online, and in the top right search box, you could type in the job title you want to research. That website will provide a number of skills and information that is important to that job. And you can utilize the information from the job description and ONET to help you write effective action words and descriptions on your resume and cover letter. I think it's important to know some of the common mistakes on a resume. That way it helps you avoid them. This item below is from a survey of hiring managers in all different fields. The items in red are ones that we typically see in career development. So as I mentioned earlier, try to avoid spelling errors and poor grammar, but also typos. And what I mean by typo is if you mean to write 2023, you accidentally have another zero in there or something like that. So try to avoid that as well. Poor formatting, that is vital. Try to avoid poor formatting. Utilize the resume checklist that I will go over in a few minutes. And the last one, you do not need the phrase references available upon request on your resume. It's like an obvious statement. It just takes up space. And your resume is, you want to think of it as important space and not fill it with information that is not important. So you do not need that. In fact, you will see in our resume guide on our website, we have a sample reference document to create. Try to avoid using first person unless it's the introduction section of your resume, like an objective, summary, profile, qualifications, something like that. The document is understood to be written by you, about you, so start with action verbs and phrases. It's important to have a strong format, but that also means try to avoid using a resume template or pre-made resume. Oftentimes they have strange spacing and it makes the document difficult to read. They have different columns, so it makes things look cluttered. So I would recommend that you just use a blank Word document and type out your resume. It makes your life easier for designing your resume. Here are some resume section ideas. That doesn't mean you will have all these. You might have different ones that are not listed, but here are some ideas. Generally, you want to start with your name and contact information at the top, including your phone number and email, so the employer can contact you if they're interested in scheduling an interview or discussing the job further. Having an introduction section, I think, is a good way to start your resume. That includes an objective, a qualification, skills, profile, even a summary. There's all different names for that. Review some of the sample resumes that I will discuss soon. You need your education in there, your degree and major, and when you're graduating. Your work experience, that's part-time, summer jobs included, full-time jobs. And if you have related experience, you want to separate that from the other work experience that might not be related to your major. For example, if you're a healthcare major in nursing or allied health, maybe you call it nursing experience or healthcare experience. If you're a marketing major, maybe you call it marketing experience. At the very least, you could call it related experience, since you're telling the reader, here is information that's related to the job I'm applying for. You can have a section called additional experience if you want. Leadership activities. Leadership activities would include student clubs and organizations, training, things of that nature, and even professional development if you belong to some professional associations. Here are the steps to find resume samples and information. You go to the G Career Development website, which is gmercyu.edu/CD, click on Students and Alumni, and scroll down to the resume and cover letter section. I will show you that in a few minutes. Make sure to review the resume checklist, which will go over tips for both the content and the format. Those two important sections I mentioned earlier, and action words as well. So let's go over that information. Here is the Career Development website. So once you're here, you want to scroll down and click on Students and Alumni on the left side. And after clicking that, you scroll down a little bit more till you get to the resume and cover letter information section, which is right here. And in this section, you will see you want to start with the first packet, resume, cover letter, and reference basics. This will go over steps to updating and creating your resume, your cover letter, and reference document. And then you want to review different sample resumes based on academic schools. So if you are in the School of Arts and Sciences, check out this guide, business here, education, nursing and healthcare. If you're a student athlete or a veteran, you can check out sample resumes and information there. I would advise you to check out all different samples, regardless of your major in those sections, so you can look at different ideas for formatting and writing bullets. But let's go over the resume and cover letter reference basics. When you click on this document, it will go over what page has what information here. And I'm going to scroll down to the action words and the checklist. So here's a sample list of ideas for action words to describe your jobs and your internships and your student clubs and your experiences on your resume. This will help you brainstorm certain ways to start those descriptions. If you scroll down a little bit more, here's that checklist I was referring to. The first part goes over the format, suggestions for what font to consider, what font size. Keep a close eye on the spacing section, what your margins should be, what your spacing should be. So these takes only a few minutes to fix these issues. And if you keep scrolling down, it goes over ideas for your content on your resume, including section headings. If you keep going on this packet, there is a generic resume sample here. And you could see certain things, such as what sections are recommended, how to set up your education section and other section, how your bullets are set up, and how action words are utilized. If you keep scrolling down, it goes over cover letter information, including how to create your cover letter, which I will discuss in a few minutes. Here are some additional resume tips to think about. Don't send out your first draft. Utilize these resources we are discussing. Utilize the checklist and make sure you update and strengthen your resume. Don't wait until the last minute. Know the position and the employer. That will help you personalize your document. And if you can, if you're at this stage, write about your accomplishments too, not just your job duties and responsibilities. And try to make it a habit to update your document every so often, so you're not scrambling at the last minute to update it. So cover letters. I would absolutely recommend that you have one prepared just in case you need it. I would assume you need one. That way you are ready to prepare one, and it helps supplement and enhance your resume. You can target your cover letter a little bit more towards a specific job or internship and employer than even your resume can. This will help convince the reader of your skills, experience, and knowledge that will show them that you will be successful in the position you are applying for. As I showed you earlier, you can find cover letter samples right in that resume packet on our website, and I will show you some of them in a second. So right below the resume checklist and action verbs and resume sample, there is a cover letter. There's a few cover letter samples. And as you can see here, it shows you how to format the cover letter, everything on the left side of the page. And then generally it has 3 to 5 paragraphs. This example has 4. It has an intro section. And then the second and third paragraphs usually showcase your skills, knowledge, and experience that's related to the position you are applying for. And that could be experience and skills through class projects, class itself, an internship, a student club, work experience, and anything of that nature. And if you keep going down, here's another example. So make sure you review the samples and personalize your cover letter towards the position you are applying for. So yes, your cover letter will change over time. If you keep scrolling down in this document, you will find an example of how to set up your reference document. So generally, you want to have around 3 references. That can be work or internship supervisors, faculty members, people that can talk about your experience, knowledge, and skills and how it relates to the job you're applying for. Make sure to ask your references for permission to use that. So let's talk about next steps and if you have any questions. So your next 3 steps should be review the resume and cover letter information and samples on our career development website. Make sure to check out the resume checklist so that way you can work on both the content and the format. And refer to this video a few times to help you with updating, creating, or strengthening your resume and cover letter. If you have any questions, please contact Career Development. We're located in Keith's Library. You can email us at cd@gmercyu.edu and visit our website at gmercyu.edu/cd.